hunch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club. I'm your boy Wolfie, and I'm here with my
Matty.
cohort. Woo! As always, and we're chilling, we're chillaxing, we're doing our thing. We pushed it back a little bit today to make sure that you got home from your nightly commute
Safe and sound.
in order to be with us.
We don't want you rushing in the streets, driving too fast.
Yeah, it snowed out here. I don't know about
up.
where you guys are from, but it's slick.
Not in Seattle.
Anyhow, tonight we have we're gonna watch the Godzilla Kong versus Kong trailer and commentate on our viewing of that. I think we've both seen it, but it'll be interesting to see a reaction. I haven't really talked to anybody about it yet. Also, there's some new Mortal Kombat footage that showed up in a Warner Brothers promo for all the releases that they're going to do on HBO Max, and I thought that would be fun to watch, not only for the Mortal Kombat stuff, but the Mortal Kombat stuff did get us some views on our most popular video yet on YouTube.
And we're all just a bunch of whores for those.
I just threw it in there like
viewers.
Yeah, threw it in there like marketing like. But it'll be cool to watch this WB promo. I've seen it already, but it shows a bunch of different releases, so plenty of stuff to commentate.
I want to see the Malignant stuff.
Malignant. Wait, Maleficent?
Malignant. It's the new James Wan horror movie.
I knew that.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, after that, we're gonna get into our discussion. I finally got caught up on WandaVision, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit, where it's going, what we think, think's gonna happen. I can't wait
to see what you think.
That kind of thing. And then we're also gonna review Psycho Goreman, which is gonna be tight. So without further ado,
hunky boys.
Let's watch these two hunky boys throw down. Let me set up my screen share. Yeah, we'll get to that stuff. Good stuff. Just teasing you right now. Good stuff. All right, so here we got Godzilla versus Kong, if I could get it to work with me. Hear that okay, Matty?
Yeah, I hear it.
This is our only chance.
Helicopters, hell yeah.
You got a good movie when helicopters show up.
Monkeys, love it.
Oh, it's a sleepy boy.
He's a sleepy. Oh, look at you, cute.
We need Kong.
Is that Patrick Wilson?
Needs him. To stop
Skarsgård brother, they're in everything these days.
Oh, right. Child. Look like P. Wills from that.
She's the only one who
I like that they made like a little girl.
I knew that they had a bond. She had nowhere to go.
I have something to say about all these humans in all these movies after the trailer.
And I think that in some way,
Cute.
Kong did the same.
Oh, snap.
Oh no, Godzilla's here.
Scary.
It's Godzilla.
That's me every morning.
I know, dude.
I wish Kong fought in fisticuffs here.
Yeah.
Very classic.
These are dangerous times.
Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people, and we don't know why.
Hey,
There's
angry.
something provoking him that we're not seeing here.
I'm of the same opinion.
The myths are real. There was a war.
Ooh.
And they're the last ones standing.
I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Who bows the monsters?
Nobody gonna stop me.
Millie Bobby.
Kong bows to no one.
What?
Millie Bobby.
Oh.
It froze there a little bit. Did it freeze there for you?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You get the gist. They can watch it.
Right at the most climactic part of the
Yeah, I
trailer. It's like, "Goo." But I mean, hell yeah. What do you think? What do you think of that?
I think it looks cool. I don't know where the Mecha Godzilla footage is. This is the second time I've watched it, and I don't know which one where that happens.
It's at the here. Watch, I'll show you. It's right at like the very beginning. I'll go scrub to it.
Who watches the very beginning of a trailer? I always turn my head away when it starts, and then I come back.
I'll try and get you a little still frame here of where I was pointed out to have seen it. Right here. Okay, You see this blob behind these people of metal? Oops. God, gosh darn it. Where'd it go? Okay, so behind these two people.
It's right. It's like in the background there.
Yeah, it's whatever this mechanical kind of metal looking monstrosity is behind them, apparently.
You know what? Old Matty just thought it was some disaster happening between Godzilla and Kong. That's what I chalked it up to. You know what? I didn't do any kind of zoom in to see if that was Mecha Godzilla. I think
Easter eggs everywhere.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I just don't like Godzilla being a baddie.
Perhaps that's the red herring that's tossed in front of us. You know, maybe there's something more going on. Obviously, some kind of Godzilla mind control. I'm just gonna say it now. Somebody's got some kind of mechanism or some kind of ancient god or something is messing with Godzilla, and he's gonna snap right at the end, and there's gonna be all kinds of monsters. That's my prediction, and they're both gonna fight together. But that's just what I think. It looks pretty cool. I never finished Kong Island.
Kong Skull Island.
So here's my story. I went into the Century theaters, the cheapy theaters, you know, to go watch a movie one afternoon on a day off, and then I got there and I was like, hey, I'll watch Kong Skull Island, no big deal. It's only $6. And then I got in there and I was just really not enjoying it as it started, and once John C. Reilly got on there and he was like doing his little song and dance and being extremely goofy, I was kind of like, you know, I could probably spend this afternoon doing something else. And I left. I walked out of there. I don't walk out of movies. That's like an ultimate disrespect, but I did it.
I watched it for the second time not too long ago, and I still don't get what all the excitement's about.
I've heard it gets better in the second half, but
I mean, there's some cool fight scenes towards the end of the movie, and like when Kong shows up, it's fun. I just don't care about any of the characters.
Yeah,
and they want you to make you love them.
Wait, what were you gonna say about the people in this movie?
Oh, that's it. Just I don't need people anymore. I feel like every time they bring one of these out, there's like more characters added. I do like that they're bringing like Millie Bobby Brown back, because I thought they were going to do what they did from Godzilla and just be like, oh, those other people you followed around for an entire movie, we're not even going to really talk about them in the second movie, and here's a whole new cast of characters you got to get involved with. So I'm like, I'm glad she's back, but now it seems like there's a whole other cast of characters I got to get to know. And I'm like, I don't come here to... This is my thing with Jurassic Park movies. You might not like Fallen Kingdom. I do. You know why? Because it's got fucking dinosaurs in it. That's why I go see a Jurassic Park movie. I don't go see it because of Chris Pratt. I don't care. I think his character's pretty lame in those movies.
Yeah.
I go to see dinos eat people or kill dinos or rampage around. And that's all I want from my Godzilla and my Kong. And I don't need this whole character, you know, my mom's kind of evil. I don't know. I don't want her to die because her brother died in the rubble, like because of the first Godzilla attack. Boo! I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
I enjoy the human element to this kind of thing. I enjoyed the first reboot of Godzilla, the American reboot that we got. I liked it. Slow burn. It was enjoyable. It was slow and enjoyable. Yeah. But I liked that one. And then Kong Skull Island was like totally the opposite side of the coin. It was just like all the characters in the beginning, all those soldiers were so annoying, you know, and then and I thought they all died in this big like destruction sequence, and I was like, oh damn, okay, they're icing everybody. I get it. Anybody could die at any time. This is a great thing they're setting up here. But then you cut to the next scene when all the destruction is done, and all these annoying guys that you thought just died are still there. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long movie. I like Adrian Brody. I like Brie Larson. I like Sam Jackson. He was in there, right?
It's Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is the name.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, they're like the same energy. Anyway, Tom Hiddleston. My bad. But anyway,
we have so many Loki fans so mad at you right now.
Sorry, guys. That was a joke. That was a trick.
Apologize.
I'm Loki. But anyway, this next Kong, Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a spectacle to be held, regardless of whatever shit's going on with these people. It's nice to have all these good actors. I hope they weave them in and out of the story in a nice, flowy, well-paced way. I hope we don't get hung up too much on the human drama. You know, just not that it's not good, but you know, we're showing up for the monsters. And what else was I gonna say? It looks pretty fun. It looks fun. I'm interested. I'm into it. Can't wait. I mean, I can't.
Yeah,
wait.
I mean,
It'll be
it's
nice.
going to be on HBO, so I'm literally just going to be able to be like, "Ooh, it's Friday." Click. You know, it's going to be
true.
pretty interesting to see these like big budget movies this way.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like I saw a lot of comments online that were like, "Well, why is Kong so big?" And I'm kind of glad I went back and watched Kong Skull Island because John C. Reilly goes, basically, he's just a little baby Kong. He's still growing. So that's why Kong's bigger. It's been many years since Kong Skull Island.
Yeah,
so
people.
I feel like
Pay attention.
And then I was looking at some of the figures, and it looks like the axe that he's holding has like a Godzilla spike in it, like one of his like spines. Like he
that's
rips
cool.
it out of him to make an
Nice.
axe, which I thought was cool. Because in
Like
Kong, he
Stormbreaker
does.
2.
Because in Kong in the final fight, sorry, Stefan.
Oh, it's okay.
Spoiler, but he does use like a weapon in it. So I thought that was cool that like Kong can like make weapons. He's like smart. Like I feel like the thing I always missed with like the first Godzilla film was I feel like they never showed that like these animals, even though they're like ancient beings, aren't intelligent. They're just there to for destruction. But I did like in that first Godzilla where there's missiles being shot at a school bus and he kind of like raises his back and stops them. So there was a little bit of that. And then you get more when you get into King of Monsters. But I want them to fully explore that these things have feelings and they are like beings and they do emote. Like, I mean, I don't need to see them fucking cry or anything, but I like the emotion of, because it takes like you can make a movie like this in the Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes, like, or those new Planet of the Apes movies. There were whole scenes where they were signing each other or just like looking and staring, and that was CG. It's like, and those are some of my favorite scenes of that movie. Then again, that movie could have had no humans in it, and I would have been like, oh my God, just show me sign language for fucking 2 hours, dude. Just monkeys living life, man, trying to make it in the world. I'm there for it. So I hope they explore that and more with Kong and Godzilla in the new one. Yeah, and maybe they have some kind of relationship where they see each other as friends, or you know, I just don't want them to be. Versus movies are fun, but I feel like with like because I love Godzilla and I love King Kong, I don't want them to fight and there be one of them's got to die. It's like, this isn't Alien versus Predator. Like I want to see some aliens and predators die in that movie, but I don't want to see Godzilla die. I don't want to see Kong kill Godzilla, and I don't want to see Godzilla kill Kong, you know, which I mean, it's not going to happen. You kill your franchise, but the fact that it could happen makes a little Maddie scared. Yeah. And I don't want to be.
It looks like there's a lot of monsters in it. You know, just getting beat up. So perhaps there's a lot more to what we're just seeing. You know, it's highly anticipated crossover film, pseudo sequel, I guess, to some of these more recent monster movies. So I mean, in a way, like in Japan, these kind of movies happened a lot back in the day, but in our current state of cinema, you know, we have this kind of unprecedented. I'd say maybe not unprecedented, but it's certainly a little different than Batman and Superman, I'd say.
People think those big old monster movies don't make no money for them.
Yeah.
I'll go see them.
Yeah. And what's not to love, you know, big monsters. You know, it's heavy on CG and everything, and that's to be expected. But I do think, you know, in as obvious as a lot of CG is, I do think that suspending your disbelief a little bit, there's a lot to be held in some quality CG or something. This looks, you know, pretty quality to me, and I really get down on like big torrents of water like washing off of those ships as they're tipping over, you know, just stuff you would never see and probably never would likely want to see outside of a film like this.
I feel like a lot of people were also like, the CG sucks, and I was like, I don't know. Am I the only one that's looking at it and being like, oh my God, giant monsters? I don't know what that would look like in real life. Looks pretty good to me. So
yeah, and maybe that also speaks to something deeper. Maybe we're in a point in time with movies and CG that maybe it's not. Maybe every time somebody says that, oh, the CG sucks or whatever, is maybe because deep down we're all just kind of like not into CG to a certain level, like that uncanny valley kind of thing just don't compute. But with like technologies like stagecraft at Disney and stuff, and I'm just saying, like, what does the future hold for either CG or maybe a whole new workaround that is more conducive to what our minds are processing?
Yeah, I just wonder how, like, if they did take it back to like the old Godzilla and Kong films, like, what if that came out now? Would it, like, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. I don't feel like they could pull off like a lot of the stuff they would want to pull off. And,
right.
So I feel like unfortunately, it's the way to do things with giant monsters in them.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they're shooting in a tiny city that they have to build with guys in costumes, it's like costumes have gotten a lot better, but would you go, oh, I can totally tell it's a guy in a costume? You know, it's like,
I need Godzuki.
I don't know. It's like, it's all effects. So like, yeah, we know it's not real. Okay. There's something else going on there. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. So
I thought I was just like, I watched, I was like, this looks sick. I bet everybody else is stoked. And it's like, why is Kong so big and the CG sucks? And I was like, oh,
it's the internet for you.
The internet sucks.
Anyway, next on the docket, we got new MK footage.
I haven't seen this yet.
This has been
I tried to
featured
watch it wouldn't load.
The same day premieres trailer from Warner Brothers. So there's only little bite-sized moments of MK, but as of yet, we have not seen any moving footage. So this is still
that's not true. They do the thing
cool.
where Sub-Zero does the sword thing in the first one.
Yeah, that's right. Did they?
Yep.
Well, we get a little more Sub-Zero, so just enjoy it.
I mean, maybe they used it again.
I don't remember seeing it the first time around. But
it's the one that's on like HBO Max when you watch it now.
I have a terrible memory. I see.
I don't think it's this one though. I think this is a new one.
This is a new one, yeah. There's some new footage from MK, but also a bunch of new footage from
Dune.
some of these same day releases. So there's a bunch of movies here. We're just going to watch them and we're going to commentate on them, and we shall see a little bit of new Mortal Kombat footage, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, me too.
You hear that? Okay.
We're going on a journey.
Yep.
All right.
All you have to do is follow my voice.
Hugh Jackman, love him, great guy.
So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
This footage too is great. I haven't seen any of that.
I'm super excited for
Antonio Soprano.
I didn't even watch that. I don't know fucking shit about Sopranos.
Welcome to
I've never
the
seen it either.
Space Jam.
I'm watching that.
I have got to see what the Space Jam is all about.
Venus and Serena.
This I can pass
shake up this world.
I like Venus and Serena, but that's some cheesy shit. Sub-Zero.
Conjuring 3, can't wait.
Malignant. Is that Malignant?
No, it's Conjuring 3.
Okay, so it's
Just
a whole
listen.
different thing. Tom and Jerry looks good too.
Never leave you.
How can we help?
That's Malignant, the girl in the red.
Okay.
To Mortal Kombat.
So now.
Ooh.
All right.
Thanks, Jimmy.
There's that.
I'm gonna show off. Unless what they're showing off is dope as
I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of this. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Boy, don't play with me.
Ooh. That's sick.
in theaters.
Matrix, I forgot.
I'm excited to see what that is going to be all about.
Yeah.
Matrix, what?
What's this Hugh Jackman movie?
I think that was the Reminiscence one, potentially.
Yeah, but what is that?
But that looks good. I don't know. It looks like a little
looks
neo-noir
skinny in it.
thriller drama. Yeah,
He looks
good.
skinny.
He
I'm
looks
used to
young.
him keeping up that Wolverine physique all the time in every movie because, he was always in that next X-Men movie right around the corner, wasn't he?
He been laying low.
But no more. No
He
more.
been laying low. What'd you think about that added Sub-Zero shot and whatnot?
Oh, it looks sick, man. I think it
costume
looks
cool.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope the story's good. I hope like the visuals look great.
Yeah.
So I just hope I hope the story's there, and I hope, I mean, like I said when we talked about this earlier, I hope this is the video game movie that breaks like, here's how you make it, and then everyone else can just copy that, and which I think is basically just make it like the fucking game.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I mean, it was the same thing with the Marvel movies. They're like, we're so afraid to put them in their costumes, and that's all we ever wanted.
Yeah.
All the thing I ever wanted for years was to see Wolverine in the fucking Wolverine costume on a movie screen. And you know what I got? I never got it. I got to look at the costume in a deleted scene in the Wolverine, but he never put that shit on. And it's like, if you can show it to me in a box, he can wear that shit, you know?
Yeah, just once. Have him go shopping for groceries.
I mean, like, why? That seemed like a missed opportunity in Logan for one of those kids to be like, we have your old costume. How'd you get it? I don't give a shit. Put it on for that final fight. Like, come on.
That would have been cool. And also, that bad guy should have been Cyber anyway.
So real quick, Logan, I don't like movies where you fight younger versions of yourselves. Right. I think it's dumb. I think it's something that, like, I don't know. Like, out of Wolverine's rogues gallery, you couldn't have picked any other character. Omega Red, for example. What would you could have called him Omega Red, and he didn't even have to have a Russian accent, and I would have let that shit slide. Also, other thing, put Sabretooth in that shit. Have him be buddy. It's not worth fighting anymore. Mutants are dying. I gotta save them. I gotta help you, Wolverine, because you're dying. Oh my God, Liv Schreiber's a good actor. He would have held that. I don't know. I got things to say about Logan. I do enjoy Logan, but missed opportunities all around.
Agreed.
Where's Kevin Feige then?
Anything else from that same day drop trailer thing that you're excited to see?
I think Dune looks sick. I cannot wait to see it. I did read something that Denis, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name the correct way because I can't do it. I've heard people say it, and I just
Villeneuve, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But because it looks like Dennis, but it's Denis.
Denis Villeneuve.
But I think Dune looks sick, and I hope this doesn't jeopardize any future Dune plans, because I would at least love to see the film finish, because I know there was talks of like an HBO series and blah, 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 and which I'm there for. I think it's a world that's very cool, and it could be the new... I mean, it's Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones. It just takes place on a fucking desert planet with giant worms instead of dragons. So, it could be the next thing. I really hope it doesn't damper people, and like somehow if there's a way to support this film, I mean, I kind of want to pay for it, honestly, because I love that book, and I've been waiting for a good version because love David Lynch, but dude, that movie is atrocious compared to the source material. It's a fun David Lynch movie, terrible Dune movie. I also think I can't wait for Conjuring 3. I think that series is great, and that like James Wan universe he set up is like he was setting up a universe before anyone thought about setting up a universe, because a lot of his films all take place within the Conjuring universe, which I think is cool. And maybe he didn't mean to do it, and it just someone goes, "We'll pay for you to make these films," and he goes, "Okay, they all exist in the same world. Let's do it."
So just the Conjuring films, or does something like Death Sentence also in that?
No, there's no. I know that like the Annabelle movies, The Nun, Curse of La Llorona, I think also takes place in the Conjuring universe.
Llorona.
Yeah, sorry for mispronouncing. And then the Conjuring films. So I'm excited for that. And then there's only seemed to be one shot of Malignant, but I've only seen that one shot, so something else could have. But I think it's supposed to be like a Giallo film, like his like suspense thriller throwback to like Giallo and oh my god, totally blanking Suspiria. What's his name? Dario Argento. Like Argento flicks and stuff. So I'm pretty stoked for that, to see if maybe that somehow comes into the Conjuring universe, like if there's some kind of connection there. Yeah, I think that stuff. I mean, I don't know what Reminiscence is about, but I like Hugh Jackman. If it looks cool, I'll watch it.
Got time for the Hugh Jack.
I mean, I didn't see The Greatest Showman because I didn't care, but I think Hugh Jackman, like, honestly, when they showed the clip, I was like, oh man, this looks kind of like Prisoners, and I went, oh, in my head, I went, Prisoners is a dope movie. This might be a dope movie. Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked for him to get back on the scene, and because I think he is a good actor, and I'm excited to see what he's got up next. What else?
He's one of the best, baby.
We've already talked about Kong. I'm already excited about that.
What about Space Jam?
Looks sick. I mean, I'll watch it. I don't care, but I'm going to watch it because it's going to pop up there, and I'll be like, why not? I think the only thing I'm not. Tom and Jerry's probably the only thing I'm not like
I kinda wanna
interested in.
watch
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll watch it for the podcast if the people want
Yay!
it. What are you excited about?
Probably Space Jam and
that's
Dune.
it.
Definitely
All that other stuff
Dune.
was like trash.
Mortal Kombat, that shot of Sonya and everything. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's looking tasty to me. And that costume on Sub-Zero looks great. I just know that guy's such a, like, me and Maddie both know that guy's such a good actor, Joe Taslim, that I don't know. I hope they give him all something to really
Warrior
work with.
HBO Max now.
I hope that James Wan had a more or less a decent kind of like hands-on approach with some of Mortal Kombat, maybe in the beginning. I don't know, something just for sake of quality control. But
well, I mean,
that's
so the only thing that worries me about that is some of the films that like James Wan puts his producing title on that veer off from his own films within the Conjuring universe have not been great.
Oh, right. I have heard that.
But because The Curse of La Llorona was not good. Okay, well, you'll just say it for
It's
me.
not good? I actually read it's like a hidden gem. It's not good at all?
I don't like it. I would say if you're going to watch any... I like The Nun more. I might be a little biased because I like the director of that his first flick, The Hollow, a lot. I think it's a great monster flick. But there are moments in The Nun. It is kind of like some of the acting's not there, and it's like kind of like. But I think it's got enough like B movie like quirkiness to it that it works, and some of the imagery is kind of disturbing. And then Annabelle Comes Home. I would say watch The Nun and Annabelle Comes Home, and that's probably all you need.
Yeah.
And you should just read the Wikipedia pages for everything else. But that's the only thing that's got me worried. But it is a different source material. And I think when some of those movies were being made, he was doing his DC Aquaman thing. And I'm sure Aquaman took up a lot of his time. And that's another thing that worries me because I love James Wan. I will be there for every horror movie he does. I've seen all of them.
Nice.
But I did not like Aquaman that much. I've watched it twice, and it just doesn't do it for me.
Are you a fan of the Saw franchise?
Of the what? Yeah, I like the first three Saw movies. After that, it's like it just becomes like too much. I do want to see Spiral, the Book of Saw, with Chris Rock and is Sammy J in it? I think Samuel Jackson's in it.
Yeah.
But I guess I was reading some stuff and like I haven't seen the new season of Fargo, but just seeing that Chris Rock was like amazing in it makes me stoked for this. And then I guess like their thoughts going into producing this and making this film was like, hey, we want to make Saw like 7, and I was like, sold. Cool. If you can capture like the essence of 7 but make it cool in a Saw universe with like death traps, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll watch that movie. And Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, it's like I wasn't that stoked. Like when I saw that it was like coming out, I was like, Chris Rock's in it. I was like, that seems weird. He would produce and star in this.
Right.
But I was like, whatever. I mean, everybody needs a bathroom attached to their house, right? So sometimes you just do a movie.
Chris Rock's really interesting as a dramatic actor. There are some moments in the Fargo season 4 where he's really pushing and trying for a certain beat or emotion. And, it's not totally sold, just momentary, it kind of takes you out of the moment for a second, but it's very much Chris Rock. You're like, oh yeah, it's this guy. Whoa, you almost had me there, Chris Rock, to the degree that I thought he was totally somebody different. But it's interesting to see him in more dramatic roles, and the way that he interprets intensity. I'll say that is interesting to me.
It'll be interesting to see because I've just seen trailers of Fargo, and it seems like his character is a little more enthusiastic, I'll say. And it seems like from the stills of Spiral is maybe he's going to be a little more subdued and more, gloomy, I guess is a good way to say it. So, I'm I wasn't interested when they announced it, but seeing some stills, I'm stoked. Even though that has nothing to do with Warner Brothers. I don't know why I got off on this tangent.
Yeah.
I just like horror movies. I like to talk about them.
Heck yeah. Speaking of true horror, our next topic is Psycho Goreman review. And then we'll talk about WandaVision afterwards. But anyway, so over these last couple days or over the last week or whatever, both Maddie and I watched Psycho Goreman in order to review it because the trailer looks so amazing from our previous episode. And sometimes I'm bad with release dates, and lo and behold, it was like out. So we're like, fuck it, we got to watch this shit. I really enjoyed it. There's parts I thought it dragged on a little bit, but even in those parts, I was like, this is a really fun world to be in. So just let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. But it was highly enjoyable and really nuts, and something that I never seen before, but plays off of that nostalgia of things that I maybe have wanted in my life before. What'd you think of the movie, Matty?
So this movie brought me back to being like a little Matty in a VHS store. Like my dad would take me, and I'd always go and rent. I'd always go to there's this room in the back that was like the horror room where all the horror movies were. And I always felt weird going in there because I was like too young. But my dad's like, "Come on, we're getting horror movies tonight." I was like, "Yeah, sick. I'm with an adult. I can get any movie I want." And I would always pick up Monster Squad because I love that movie. But I feel like Psycho Goreman is the movie that I wanted as a small baby Matty and never got to see until he was a 36-year-old Matty. Yeah. I will show this to my children if I have them. I loved it. I thought it was incredible. It does drag. It is a very B movie. It's very, I'd say it's higher quality than like a trauma flick. Mm-hmm. And the script's better than a trauma flick. I mean, definitely. Toxic Avengers, great. Class of Nukem High is like one of my favorites. Like the script and the flow of the film is much better than like a trauma film. Mm-hmm. But it has that like fun, like you're going to get some great gore moments. You're going to get great, like cool effects, and just like whatever we can possibly do, we're going to do with these characters, which is why trauma is so much fun, because they're just like, well, fuck the script. We're just going to make stuff blow up and gory as hell. So yeah, man, right. It does drag, and I think some beats are missed, but I think overall it's just like a fun ride of something that I think I've seen, but not in a really long time, and not recently. Yeah. Like I don't really stay up on like what Troma's doing, because I feel like I've seen most of his Toxic Avenger movies. They're all fun. Class of Nukem High, I like tried to watch the second one. I was like, eh. But most of them are just kind of like Tromeo and Juliet. But I've kind of thrown away most of like the Troma films. Mm-hmm. But I felt like this was like a Troma film, but better, you know?
Yeah, it had that studied and well practiced kind of execution put to a movie. Like, this movie is stupid, but it's one of the best stupid movies I've ever seen. You know, not to discredit it in any way, but it's like, it's a real shoot from the hip kind of like, you know what would be great? You know, blah, 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 blah. And one thing I really loved was kind of the twisted nature of the family right off the bat. You know, the little girl is going to kill her brother, and she's ecstatic about it. And the way he deals with it is just like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You know, all right. You know, and she's no qualms over probably burying him as far as we know. And just the interactions with the family and how twisted the world they are in kind of reminded me of like a Honan Vasquez comic or something. Mm-hmm. Like just like cutesy stuff, but it's totally twisted. And that lent well to like all the stuff going on, obviously, with so much gore happening around like the kids and these family. You know, a lot of it is just like an overblown caricature. But it all really works really well, you know, except for those moments where it drags. But generally in those moments where it drags, you know, they're experimenting with what's going to make you laugh maybe, or what they can squeeze out of their effects budget. And all the costumes are great. You know, you could see where some of the production value, you know, was a little tight maybe, but all the creatures, it felt like Power Rangers at times. You know, it felt like, I
remember Andrew sent me I posted that I was watching it, and after it was over around the time he sent me, he's like, is this that script I sent you? Did they just steal it from me? Because he just has a script that's very Power Rangers, but also very Psycho Goreman. And I was like, no, dude, you're fine. True. There's no Power Rangers in it. It does have a kid that controls a monster, which is cool. Yeah. But I think you're fine, dude. You know, and I just,
it's got
I thought that was funny. Because like as I was watching it, I was like, it does have that Power Rangers, like, you know, watching it on like, you know, before school kind of feel to it, but it's rated R.
Yeah, which is, you know, it's very much a children's movie, but it's an absolute gore fest. And that, you know, those two things you just don't get, you know, probably because handling it in any other kind of way would be maybe too weird or, you know, too messed up. You know, if the kids are likable and lovable in this, but not for the reasons that anybody should be likable and lovable, you know, from an audience standpoint. That little girl, you know, sometimes she's a little obnoxious, but, you know, she really does have a lot of moments where she really gets the core of what her character is all about and sells a lot of these moments really well for her age. And you know, would you think?
You have to...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, I feel like people like who are judging this movie on the actors, like a child actor's ability. I mean, it's a shoestring budget movie, I'm sure, compared to like stuff you watch all the time, or So I think you have to suspend some of your like, yeah, these people. This might be her first movie or second. I mean, she's a little girl, and I did think some of the humor stuff kind of fell, but when it landed, dude. Like I watched it, so. We rented it and watched it on the projector downstairs because me and my roommate Brock wanted to watch it. So we kind of like watched the trailer before, and everybody like Lauren was like, "Yeah, okay, I can't like this looks kind of weird and fun." And then our other roommate was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, you're in for a ride," because like this is my cup of tea, man. This is the shit I like. I love to find this shit. Yeah. So she was like, "Well, that was one of the most interesting movies I've seen in a while," and I was like, all right, that's a good review. But it was a ton of fun to watch. And like all of us were laughing at the key, like when it landed. Mm-hmm. I mean, and everyone has a different sense of humor. So some stuff that made me laugh didn't make them laugh. But I feel like generally when it was supposed to make you laugh and he wanted that laugh, it worked. But there was a lot of like dead time sometimes where you're like, is this a joke or just like she doesn't know how to act this scene? But I was like, whatever. It's a B movie. I'm having a great time watching it.
Yeah, definitely. The dad was really interesting. He was,
man.
You
like wanted to love him, but then he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he reminds me. I don't know exactly what he reminds me of. He's a piece of shit, but there's also something just not right inside, And I love those lingering moments at the end of scenes where they kind of like zoom in on his lunacy a little bit, and I'm just like, that kind of stuff. I just find really, really tasty in a movie. Any kind of movie, especially one that plays off of this kind of twisted humor. So that actor, he's kind of popped up in a lot of these low budget horror films. I feel like I've seen him. But he was interesting, he didn't always sell every joke that he was a part of or whatever, but like same with what you said, it's a super low budget thing. And for the moments that they were able to land those jokes and stuff, it was really good. Those were the parts of the movie that kept it kind of moving. And, it's ridiculous. It's absurd.
I also feel like it's, maybe some of these jokes that didn't land is maybe the directors, writers, crew members kind of sense of humor. And maybe it's meant for us to.
It does. Yeah, totally.
Because I mean, I'm sure that I've tried to write scripts before and Stefan's written them. And you kind of like, if you've never done it, you kind of like know your characters inside and out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes like some of the stuff that you want to make it to paper just doesn't make sense so I wonder if some of this stuff was like, fuck it, we'll just throw it in there because something we wrote and we wanted it to happen and we don't have time to reshoot it, so who gives a fuck, and
throw some effects on it, boom.
Yeah. So I like that it's like, I the more and more I see like. There's some scenes that I feel like maybe the kids are riffing. He's like, oh, what would you call Psycho Goreman? And like, he just kind of lets them riff on stuff. And I feel like maybe there's a lot of that happening too, because it's just like, man, we're just making a movie. We got a budget. Like, it's going to be ridiculous anyway. Let's just go for it. Like, riff, see what happens.
The David Gordon Green style of filmmaking.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's really fun to watch behind the scenes with him and how he like gets certain things from
people. Do this
people.
take like you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
Something
do this in Kermit the Frog's voice.
That's a good one. One thing,
Psycho Goreman.
One thing I noticed too is the way that the filmmakers drew from, like, I would say drew from a lot of stuff that we're fond of from our generation, cult stuff. It felt like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a lot of ways, with some of the costuming and some of the effects and monsters. It felt like. God, what else are they drawing from? There's so much, Power Rangers.
I mean,
saying
there's like a trauma element to it as well. I mean, it's just you can tell that it's like, just like they're in the woods. It's like this is where we're shooting this. We're on a basketball court behind a high school. It's just like wherever we can shoot this thing is where we're shooting it. I mean, obviously, like I remember as soon as it started, and like they do some flashbacks to kind of give you some backstory for Psycho Goreman. Mm-hmm. And I like that it's got like a Power Rangers like feel to it, and the effects are great. My biggest complaint is I wish we could have spent more time there and less time in the real world because
great
I don't know.
Miniatures.
I mean, the more like I watch movies and like someone has a fantastic idea like this, like I just put me in that world, man. I don't need to go to Earth for any reason. Just like show me this Psycho Goreman, put me on that world. I mean, the kid element, the little girl controlling this ultra violent creature from, you know, Satan's imagination basically is hilarious. It's a great, like, if I had money to put towards something and someone brought me that script, I'm like, sold, don't even need to read it. Go make it. You know, it sounds great to me. So, yeah. So, but I don't know. I thought it was well done. The thing is when this was over, I was like, man, I hope they make a sequel.
Yeah.
I would love to see
definitely.
Psycho Goreman do his own thing, or like have to come back and save the little girl, or she has to go to his planet to save him. Something crazy. Like the world is open.
Maybe it's a few years later and she's grown up or something. Get like a cool actress to whatever play her.
She has a boyfriend and he's a hunky boy, and then Psycho Goreman has a crush on him and they get in a fight over it. Dude, we just wrote the second Psycho Goreman too.
Get us on the crew.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. I don't know
where you're making movies. I'll come.
That was a very cool moment. He's like, I don't want these magazines. She's like, hey, it's got a bunch of hunky boys, and he's like, I don't like hunky boys. Or do I? Sorry to ruin that for you, but it was like such a funny, nice, progressive little joke for you know, a gore fest trauma style film, this day and age and everything. Very, very inclusive, I think. For this type of thing, you know, back in the day, those trauma movies, it was a different time. Some of them are pretty misogynistic and sexist in their own ways and scenes and things like that. So it's great to see that we can still have our gore fest type of movies. And schlocky, ridiculous premises and stuff without sacrificing the integrity of our current generation.
Anybody can like hunky boys who want to like hunky boys.
Hunky boys. No, not my hunky boys. Anyway, it's a great movie. It's an interesting contrast to like Arch Enemy as well, because it has a very similar kind of structure.
Color palette.
You know, with the color palette and, you know, those flashback kind of scenes and stuff. So I'm really digging this kind of flavor, this thread of film being made right now. Yeah. And, you know, I liked Arch Enemy a lot, but this, you know, they're not the same or anything like that. But, you know, they share similar kind of like tropes and stuff. But I will say, for as much as this one felt like it dragged here and there, it was just so much fun, pretty much through and through. And it even has like a really ridiculous climax that works, you know, and it feels more jokes and it feels more
crazy
effects.
Ball.
So, you know, crazy ball, and the way that he devours his enemies and things. So
I was gonna ask, what was your favorite gore moment in Psycho Goreman?
I think probably the first person he eats like that. I think it's because it's so cheaply done, but it's so well done, in as cheap as you can tell it is, that I'm like, whoa, that's like that. Dude, great.
It shook me. I was like, because usually when you see a scene like this, it's like, you know, you pan over to it seconds at most, and you pan away, and they just show you what he just told you he was going to do to this guy, and it's awesome watching. It was just, I did not see like the whole scene happening, you know? Yeah. Because it happens a second time and they kind of do the quick, like, you already know what's going to happen. We don't need to show you again. But honestly, when the second time comes up, I was like, oh, you're not going to show me this? What a cop out.
Yeah. For certain, it's a cult hit, I'd say, for this one. So if you haven't watched it,
that is also my favorite gore scene.
Hell yeah. Get out there and watch it. Out of 10 interdimensional warlords of the nightmare verse, I forgot what he called himself, what do you give Psycho Goreman?
I give it a 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason I don't go 10 out of 10 is because of the dragging. I think if it was a little tighter, maybe edited it a little tighter, it would have been a 10 out of 10 fun B-movie experience that you would want to show your children. I mean, maybe in a couple of years. I'd show mine pretty early because it's me. But, you know, the more I think about it, and I really wish I would have gotten more time to do a second viewing on it. But I bought it outright. I just paid the $17 or whatever it is.
Worth it.
Because I mean, my thing with this whole, like, I don't care if you want to download stuff illegally, that's on you. But like, if this came out in theaters and we were going to do it for this show, I would have had to have gone seen it. Well, no, I would have paid the $14 to $20 to see this movie. So at least this way I get to own it and I can like revisit it. And if I watch it one more time and that's it, it was worth it. It's worth the money. But you guys should rent it or buy it. Support
it today.
indie cinema.
Yeah, and what was the director's name? Did you have that info?
His name is Steven Kostanski. I've seen one of his other movies called The Void, which a lot of very cool imagery. Yeah, it's very Hellraiser-y, kind of Lovecraftian horrors. My biggest beef with that movie is the acting is not that great.
Yeah, agreed.
In it.
Agreed.
But
wow. Okay.
Someone said, Facebook user, look at these hunky boys. Thank you. I assume that you're talking to us. We try to be hunky boys. I'm trying to.
Wow, I did not know that it was the guy who did The Void. That's pretty interesting. I hope he does more stuff like this. To be honest, for my sake, this even had a little bit of Hellraiser kind of vibe to it at times.
Yeah.
Which more of that, more of this. I'll take another Void too. Whatever. You got money now.
Let's then he did. Did you see what was it called, Manborg or something like that?
He did that.
Yeah, did you see it? I didn't see it.
I've seen the trailer for Manborg and the amazing poster for it.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie.
Nor have I. But yeah, so I would say I'd give it about an 8.5, just also because of the dragging aspects of it. It was really fun. At times, though, I was like, damn, there's still like 45 more minutes of this movie left. And, not bad, but... not bad at all, but I'll say an 8.5 just to keep it kind of a little.
I mean, that's stern. This is why you come to Ocha, right? We got to get overly critical, hyper analytic.
Lately, we just tend to pick stuff we know we're gonna love.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we do. Oh God! Don't get me started. I feel like we went through that enough in the message boards that it's like, let's just move past it. It is what it is.
That's true.
But I mean, I think we do a good job of like, if there is some flaw, like, I mean, we're not outright like, there's a reason I love this movie, and the schlock and the B movie and the effects kind of overshadow all the bad stuff in it for me. But it does drag. The acting is not great, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun watching a movie with some hunky boys.
It is good. Watch it with some people. I guess that's kind of difficult these days, but do what you can. It's nice to share that kind of energy.
Wear your mask 6 feet apart. Have a good time with Psycho Goreman.
You're looking for a nice film to watch this evening, and neither of you are COVID positive. Sit down, enjoy it together. It's real good. Highly recommended from the Overly Critical Hyper Analytical Movie Club, and we're usually overly critical and hyper analytical, so I think we did good here. So that was our review for this episode, and I mean, I guess the next thing we're going to do is kind of a review. It's more of a discussion, a little bit of loose discussion. I finally caught up on WandaVision, and I really enjoyed what I saw in these first 3 episodes. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but
I don't either.
It doesn't matter if it's enjoyable. The performances are great. The production in of itself is great. It's a really refreshing take with superheroes. And I'm excited for more. I was actually kind of holding off. I'm like, I don't think it looks interesting, and I'm glad I finally watched it for this episode to catch up because I enjoyed it. How you feeling about WandaVision?
I just want to start off by saying I saw a Facebook comment. I don't know if it was on Ocha or not, but someone said something along the lines of, oh no, it was a little meme, and it said, we started with this, and it has a picture of Robert Downey Jr. in the Iron Man costume, shooting a little, like showing his hand, shooting a little phaser beam, whatever that thing's called. And then it goes to Paul Bettany's character in black and white playing a ukulele. And I took great offense. I don't know why. I just looked at it and I got upset.
Like, what is this shit?
Because I'm like, yes, would I have liked some big spectacle movie coming out at like, we're hopefully getting to the end of this pandemic and being in this quarantine situation. What would have made it better? A tasty Marvel big action flick. But we didn't get that. We got a very cool psychological television show that I'm super into.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love like I've never been a fan of like, I mean, I watched a lot of like Dick Van Dyke Show like growing up and stuff, but I was never like, because around that time my dad was also showing me like when I was watching that stuff, my dad would be like, here's Alien, and I'm like, Alien's sick. Dick Van Dyke Show sucks, like, so it's like hard to like, but I think they've done this. Yeah. Like they've done this fantastically, like all these, like going through all these television shows and all this weirdness that's happening. And, I feel like it's what Marvel does. It kind of like leads you. It's like, I feel like it's like almost an end credit scene where each episode, they're giving you just a little bit to get you to go to the next movie, but it's just a TV show and you only got to wait a week.
Yeah.
You know,
I especially love that they're half an hour, nice and brisk.
Oh, dude.
You know,
Yeah.
you get a lot across. Just really for me, what stuck out are the performances here. Like Paul Bettany, you know, even though we got some good moments with the Vision, it was like we didn't get enough Vision, in my opinion. And in here, you know, he gets to play around with what that character is, what it means in this world. As of yet, we don't know what's going on, and playing into that Dick Van Dyke, both him and what's her name, Elizabeth Olsen. Are, you know, you can tell they're evoking kind of that old timey, what would you call, like affect in their performances and stuff like that, but having a lot of fun with it. And then when those weird moments start to creep around and the drama starts to intense, the drama behind the faux sitcom is like really intriguing. All of it, you know, I'm having just as much fun beat by beat with this show as I would with, you know, like, I don't want to specifically say Mando, but, you know, just to prove my point here, I'm just going to say, like, it's keeping me on the edge of my seat for what it is and the way that they're executing it. I really enjoy it. And
I think one thing that's keeping me on the edge of, like, keeping me going, because, I mean, I read House of M, like, years ago, and that's basically, like, Wanda loses her kids, and basically, because she's, like, an Omega-level mutant, says, I can't live in a world where my kids don't exist, and changes the entire world. And then, like, Wolverine, like, wakes himself up by throwing himself off a skyscraper. Yeah. And then they start, like, a mini mutant revolution to try to kill Wanda so they can bring the world back. It's great. So, you know, with the last episode just happening and the twins, and, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Like, they're definitely, and I guess there's, I didn't watch to the end credits, but there is a nod to the writer of House of M. So they are using some of that world that they've created in the comics. So it's, but the thing I like that, like, Kevin Feige and the team are doing, they're pulling from so much, you know, Marvel superhero stuff that you don't know what because I mean, they can do anything they want with any of the comics they have.
I feel like we're going to have... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my roommate came, like, she watched, like, the 3rd episode and was like, what's happening? Who's this character? And she's never watched any of the Marvel movies. And I was like, there's too much to tell you. I can't.
Yeah.
She's like, but the show looks cute, and I was like, well, it is, and it's a lot of fun. But she's like, well, why is this happening, and why is this, and why is she pregnant now? And I was like, my brain just started, like, melting. I was like, I don't even know where to begin to start explaining this to you.
I feel like
not having any knowledge of the Marvel universe at all.
I feel like near the Maddie's dead. I feel like at the end of this season, there's going to be a harrowing scene where either Wanda or Vision or both their lives are going to be in direct, immediate threat from some big baddie, monsters, robots of some kind, and then we're going to hear a motorcycle pull up and park, and then there's going to be a long corridor, and then we're going to see the elevator open up or whatever, and then it's going to be like snickety-snicked, and then we'll see Wolverine tear apart a bunch of robots just like Luke did in that hallway scene at the end of Mandalorian, and it's going to be great, and I don't care if they just do that again. Bring me Wolverine. It seems like...
Do you want to hear what...
they may be building to some mutants.
I haven't been reading any of the spoilers, so maybe some of the Ocha club out there know about these, but apparently Paul Bettany said he's worked with an actor that he's always wanted to work with but never thought he would get the chance. And apparently Viggo Mortensen has been around. So some people think Magneto is going to show up, and Viggo might be Magneto, because if we all know the Scarlet Witch history, that is his daughter.
That'd be very cool, actually.
And then there's also a rumor that it could just be like Dick Van Dyke shows up for like an episode, which would be cool too, because I mean, you know,
he's Mephisto or somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like he was just this guy I work with was just like, well, I've heard it could be Viggo Mortensen as Magneto, and I immediately went back. I thought about Viggo's face, and it immediately transported me to that X-Men 90s cover that like you folded out, and it shows like Magneto and like all the X-Men running towards them, and I was like, oh my god, just that. Like I could see Viggo with like gray hair, just like holding up his hand, like being the master of magnetism, you know, and I was like, oh, and I just got like chills. I was like,
that'd be cool.
God, they do this.
He would be great, actually. He would be amazing as Magneto, and you know, what's the last thing he was even in?
There's a movie called Captain Fantastic, I think, is the only thing I remember that I never saw.
He's really due for like a nice, intense role. I want to see him play Magneto with the intensity that he would play one of Cronenberg's characters, you know? Like, a little unhinged would be cool. However, as much as I like Magneto, I would, you know, who knows how they're going to reboot the X-Men, and Magneto is integral to the story, to the overarching story, and so is the Phoenix. But I'm kind of sick of those tropes, you know. Like, it would be nice to see Magneto finally take more of an ally role in some ways in a reboot, or even like maybe Professor X isn't there and Magneto has to take over a new team or something like that, you know, kind of play.
Well, they've said that Patrick Stewart won't be reprising his role as Professor X in any more of the anything to come. Right. So I wonder if they're just like, well, let's just have more Magneto takes over the Xavier school, or you know what? I mean, we can convince Patrick
to come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like at this point we're probably going to see Patrick and Hugh Jackman reprise their roles at some point, and like either the Multiverse of Madness or something. I mean, that seems like a missed opportunity to have Hugh Jackman get to wear a Wolverine costume and like be in it for a second, and maybe be an Avenger for a minute, you know?
Yeah,
so, I mean, I would love to see that, because I just don't feel like the Wolverine movies or the X-Men movies ever got to the quality of, you know, what I'm seeing, like the Captain America films, Thor, and all of this. And I like these Marvel movies, but I think Steph and I are on the same page with this. Like, X-Men was our love. I get down with the X-Men. You know, I'll watch Cap all day. Will I go read a Captain America comic after those movies? No
way.
But I love me
right to reading an X-Men comic.
I love me some Chrissy Evans as Captain America, and I'll watch him all day long.
Yeah, I'm currently going through the like most pivotal arcs of X-Men and whatnot. Just finished Days of Future Past. You know, monumental, fantastic. About to go into Mutant Genesis, or I think there's something else. God Loves, Man Kills, you know. So, you know, there's lots to be done. There's lots that could be done with the X-Men and how they're introduced. It would be really cool, actually, if within the next slate, you know, maybe near the end of Phase 4 into Phase 5 or something like that, they're kind of peppering the MCU universe with different mutants and different projects. That could be kind of cool, and that could culminate. It could be like, you know how they built Iron Man and Thor and Hulk up to the Avengers? It's like now you have this microcosm of the X-Men slowly building their way up to their own film series, and that could be crazy. A franchise within a franchise within a franchise kind of shit. And I mean, I'm super excited. This
coworker also threw this out. He's like, maybe we won't get in this next phase, but just think about it. And I was like, all right, throw it at me. He goes, X-Men versus Avengers, and I said, shut your mouth. Give it to me.
That could
I want it right now.
That could be very
and
likely.
I was like, that would be, because I mean, they did it with Civil War, and no one had to die in that, even though that comic is a pretty brutal comic. So they could definitely do it and not have to kill off any. Just, you know, someone else is pulling the strings.
Yeah.
You know, which I think would be super. I mean, if they don't do it, it'll be a missed opportunity. But you know, I think
they're coming.
I would love to see, you know, Chris Evans come back and be like, you know, maybe they kill off like whoever the new Cap is at this point when we get to this film, and Chris Evans has to come back, and like you see him pick up the shield, and we're all going to lose our shit.
Yeah, he's double worthy. He's triple, and then facing off against Hugh Jackman or whoever they cast as Wolverine, or whoever Storm. You know, like.
Since they're bringing in the multiverse, maybe like a new team of X-Men has to take off this weird team of Avengers that has like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine facing the new Wolverine.
Whoa.
Like, that would be sick. And it doesn't apply to the Logan thing I was complaining about earlier, because they're two different actors, not the same actor, just younger. It's recast. It's a different Wolverine in a different universe. Because I know all you out there will be like, hey, Daddy, you said this.
In the comments, leave us your best Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you. In the comments, leave your best pick for Wolverine. I constantly think about this, but I
throw it at me. Who you got?
You know, I was thinking who I think would be good is, what's his last name? Is Evans something Evans. Well, I don't got nobody.
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans. I like Luke Evans. I think he could look like a good Wolverine. But there's just somebody out there who's perfect, and it hasn't dawned on me yet.
So a lot of people on the internet, and I was rewatching Stranger Things with my dad, season 2 and 3, when I went home, And the guy they like is that the kid, oh God, Dockery something. He's Australian.
Yeah.
But there's some scenes in that where he's like running down the hallway, he's shirtless, and he's like just mad. And I was like, dude, that kid could be Wolverine. And I think the thing that I think what they need to do is cast someone younger. I mean, I like an older like Wolverine who's been around, but I feel like I want a Wolverine. I don't want to pick someone older who's gonna be like, man, I just like don't want to do the diet regimen. I don't care about the money. You know, because it's like to look like Wolverine doesn't look like it's easy to do. Like I couldn't do it. I just like food too much, and I don't like to work out. So, you know, I think if they pick someone younger, it's like, I mean, I feel like if they cast someone younger who's like in their 30s or something, we could get him to play Wolverine for a longer stretch of movies and like show up for these Avengers events and stuff, and like keep that like that image of what Wolverine looks like in the comics.
Oh, definitely. You know who I think would be a good Wolverine is Jared Keeso from Letterkenny, the creator and main star of Letterkenny. He's already Canadian.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, Letterkenny's great. Watch you some Letterkenny. It's medicine. It's great. It's just like a new take on.
Oh, we got a Facebook user over here saying some good stuff. You should pull it up.
It says we got Facebook user, one of our good friends, Facebook user. I think they need to go with X-23 storyline since they already have an actress. I agree that they should definitely do some stuff with X-23. She's an awesome character. There's lots of material to draw from. Also, bring her into like a TV show or something like that would be sick. You
could also do the
totally
all new Wolverine comic book storyline where she takes over the Wolverine mantle. I'd be down. Yeah, man, recast it. Doesn't even have to be a guy. I don't care as long as as long as she says bub, it's Wolverine to me. And smokes a cigar every once in a while.
But for those who do watch, oh god, I knocked my mic. For those of you who do watch Letterkenny, I think Jared Keeso would be a good male version of Wolverine. He's a redhead, but dye him up, he'd be great. There's lots of people who would be great.
I'm just watching that. I'm watching that show just because you said he'd make a good Wolverine.
Hell yeah! He gets into a bunch of fight scenes and stuff. You'll see it. Yeah. So anyhow, that's Wolverine is really how we feel about WandaVision. So one thing I was gonna say is
you can't get us talking about Marvel and it's not expected to go to X-Men. It's gonna happen every time.
There is an Easter egg that it came from like a Reddit user, and I don't know how accurate this is, but supposedly there's a sequence of scenes where there are clocks in the background and the number hands. This is me doing the number hands. The number hands and the clocks in the background, they use that flag language that they use for like airplane runways. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I did a painting on it in college because it was
sick.
a word I had to YouTube. Weird, random, like that was random. Yeah.
But anyway, apparently in this sequence of shots in WandaVision, the hands spell out X-Men in that flag language. So
really,
I can't confirm that because I don't know the flag language, but Google it right now and you'll find this like pretty astute Reddit user has pointed out that possibly spells
come on,
X-Men
watchers, someone tell me if it's true. I'm looking in the comments. Tell me. I don't want to do the research on my own.
I'll have to send the link.
I'm not going to believe it till I see Wolverine or X-23 or anyone from the X-Men universe show up.
You know what I would do
did you know? One thing that I did not know, sorry, I know we're trying to wrap this up, but this is WandaVision. It's not Wolverine or X-Men. The girl that's in the last episode that gets kicked out of the world is the little girl from Captain Marvel.
What? No,
I didn't know that. They say her name, and I just rewatched Captain Marvel, and I don't remember the little girl's name.
Gotcha.
But my friend at work said, "Did you know this?" And I said, "No, that's very interesting." So
they know what they're doing. Apparently, they have Marvel movies planned out for like the next 7 years or something. So
I know
we're just sitting here speculating on shit. But little do we know of the onslaught that's about to befall us the next decade.
Kevin Feige's just watching this and laughing at us, just laughing his head off because we don't know nothing.
Yep, he's laughing.
If you're watching, Kevin, we'll do WandaVision podcast for you. Falcon and Winter Soldier podcast. We'll interview some guests for you.
They know we're out there. They're probably the two watching right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's probably Kevin Feige. Why don't we go with some X-23 storylines?
I'm gonna gain some weight here. Put on the pounds. Bub, I'd make a pretty good Wolverine, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll watch that.
You know what I would do with his mask? If it were a movie, I'd make it like tactical. Nah, I would make it so it's like it could bounce bullets off of it. So he's getting shot at. Obviously, he doesn't care because he has a healing factor. But maybe he could use them as a weapon. I don't know. Just trying to think of some practical reason for it. Probably doesn't need it. Probably just need the mask.
You know, one thing I want to see when we do get X-Men and Wolverine movies again, I want to see, because my favorite thing reading a comic with Wolverine in it was him just, Wolverine would like basically like, fuck it, I'll go take care of it. And then you're like, then the story would progress and they'd be like, where's Logan? And then he'd like pop up from the like he'd drop down through the ceiling and he'd be all battle damaged. His suit would be ripped and he'd be like, and he'd have like a sentinel wires all wrapped around him and he'd be like, oh, just taking care of business, bub. And he'd be like, oh my God, that's sick. Because you know what he was doing? He was out there fucking shit up, saving people's lives. I just want to see a battle damaged Wolverine. I want to see him all like his costume ripped. He was just taking care of sentinel business.
Soon here we'll have our 4.5 hour long Wolverine discussion. Stay tuned for that. It will be monumental.
It's going to be in.
Stay tuned for more Wolverine news. Welcome back to the Wolverine Movie Club.
It's all going to change. It'll just be the Wolverine Movie Club one. Finally, when it's like just rumored, if they've cast Wolverine, Steph and I are going to go on a huge rant.
Hard pivot.
Yeah. This is going to be the next 6 months of your all's lives.
Anywho, we don't want to take up any more of your time, folks. Thank you for joining us. Those that popped in for the show, it was a lot of fun this time. I kept it a little more simple this time, so I can tell it already went a little bit smoother. Don't want to jinx it. Catch us on YouTube if you didn't catch the whole episode and you'd like to hear what we had to say about Psycho Goreman, those trailers we watched, MK footage, Godzilla vs. Kong. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Join us on the group, facebook.com/groups/overly critical movie club. If you're not already a member, come join us. Come talk with us. It's a lot of fun. It's the best thing I think I've ever been a part of and created in a really long time. So I'm very happy for this community, and I love all you guys. If any of you would like to support the show in any way, first of all, please give us likes, give us shares, go to the YouTube channel, and give us a subscribe. But if you're so inclined and are able, go ahead and go to our patreon.com/overly critical movie club and join the supporter level, the junior producers, overly critical junior producers, for $3, and that entitles you to you're helping us out for sure. And you also get a shout out at the end of the show. You'll see your name in a little title. And we also have another tier that's the premium membership for $5, and that'll get you early access to bonus content. Maddie and I are currently coming up with some bonus content for you guys, early release access stuff. I kind of feel like up until now we've been in kind of like the beta phase of the overly critical live stream, doodad, shaboo-boo, whatever you want to call this. And so now I think we're kind of easing into it, and we're going to get some more content coming for people. So go ahead and check out the Patreon. Even if you don't join anything, check out the tiers. Let me know what you want to see. Let us know what you want to see. If you want to catch us on Instagram, go to Overly Critical Movie Club. I generally just post the promos for each episode there. I'm trying to do more little factoids and kind of things, but time management is also something that I'm working on. But go there, give us a like there, a follow there. Comment on our posts and whatnot. Also go to facebook.com/Colfax15th. That's a feature-length film I directed, co-wrote, co-produced, scored, and am currently working on a new cut for that. A really finished version. The first version of it was a little sparse, I'd say, with music and certain emotional beats that needed something. So I'm working on that now. It's coming out soon. I'm trying to balance all these entrepreneurial endeavors, but go ahead and check that out. Give us a like. Go and check out the YouTube channel for that as well. And I also want to plug my buddy's album once again, Requiem for a Sound Mind by Image Dragon. Check it out. It's a nice, very well produced hip-hop, eclectic kind of hip-hop album. My buddy, he's a really interesting lyricist, and his sound is very unique, so go check that out. Search. It's on all streaming platforms right now. Give it a listen. It's about a half an hour long, so it's a nice brisk introduction to this dude's music. One of my best friends, Jerry Lee. Go like him on Instagram as well. Jerry Lee _29, I believe.
If you can watch a WandaVision episode, you can listen to that album.
For sure.
And
Anyway,
before we
so-
exit, Stefan,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
1 second. We have one Facebook user comment we did not address, and it says, I was a Nick and Night kid, so I love it, referring to WandaVision and the style. Stefan, do you have a favorite Nick and Night
Oh
show
man,
that you used to watch? I have
Andy
mine.
Griffith. Andy Griffith all the way. I love
Bewitched.
hanging out in Mayberry.
Love
What's
me
yours?
some Bewitched and the nose wiggle,
Oh
but
yeah,
I can't.
Bewitched. That was the first
I can't.
really satanic show I ever got into.
Yeah, same. Explains a lot.
Thank you, Facebook users. Of course, we're using StreamYard, and you can allow it to show us your name, and your name will pop up on the episode if you'd like for when we read these comments. But thank you, Facebook user. I have an idea of who it might be, but thank you so much for chiming in. All our other members and anybody else watching, come join us on the live stream so you can get in on the chats. We'll see you on YouTube in the next day or so with this episode. And shoot. Oh, it's my boy Ferg. Hold on, I'm going to put him up on the show. That's my boy Ferg, Prince Ferg, also a very accomplished hip-hop artist here in the D-Town. Not Detroit, Denver is also called D-Town. That's my boy Prince Ferg. So anyway, without further ado, thank you all for checking us out. We'll see you again next week with more cool shit, and then look out for that bonus content on Patreon, and more episodes. We're going to do more stuff that was like our RoboCop episodes, more deep dive kind of stuff. So stay tuned. 2021 is going to be the shit. Wolfie signing off.
Bye-bye.